Okay. Yes, good morning, everyone. Very good morning to all students. First of all, I welcome all of you to this live session of BOS. And students, this first session is on paper 5, Auditing and Ethics. The name of the paper in this new scheme is Auditing and Ethics paper 5, and paper number is 5. And students, total number of chapters are 11 in new scheme, new course. And students, believe me, auditing is an easy subject. It is not difficult, but the general impression is that auditing is difficult. If you study consistently, my advice to all students is, whenever you are attending the class, you sit with notebook and your pen. This is very must. You must attend the lecture with notebook and pen, and you have to prepare brief notes. Brief notes are very important. Brief notes जरूर बनाएं, लेक्चर को अच्छी तरह से अटेंड करें, स्लोली पढ़ें. Do not be in hurry to study. First principle in the theoretical subject is, do not be in hurry to study. You have to be slow in studying, but consistent in studies. Consistent, I mean to say, is regularly you have to devote 2 to 3 hours for this subject. This is minimum, because you have to study other subjects also. That is why I am saying 3 hours. And students, because this is theoretical subject, so you have to start making backup of you can say backup of few sentences, few important sentences every day. For example, definitions. I give too much stress on the definition part, because if you are thorough with the definitions, if you are clear with the definitions, if you practice on the definition part, then it becomes ABC of the auditing. And believe me, students, without ABC, you cannot, if I am talking of English, you cannot form words, you cannot form sentences. And ABC is must, in my opinion, in each and every subject. And auditing is not exception to it. So students, focus on, in say first 15 days, if I should say, focus on building backup, focus on definition part. And the best practice is, students, I will keep on telling you different points about how to study, how to make backup in your mind, so that you are able to finally write in the examination. And in this subject, the problem is that student is unable to write in the examination. Students, we have to prepare in such a manner that we are able to write in the examination. We prepare, no doubt we prepare, but the final outcome is how you write in the examination. So this is very important, students. This is the first lecture. आप lectures को students religiously attend करें, बहुत अच्छे से अटेंड करें, कैजुअल अप्रोच से ना अटेंड करें। ईच एंड लाइन, एवरी लाइन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, जो सर आपको बताएंगे, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग स्टूडेंट्स। और आप कुछ बैकअप जरूर बनाएं, डेफिनेशन पार्ट को केयरफुली सुने और उसको लर्न भी करें। डेफिनेशन को एटलीस्ट टारगेट 5 definitions every day, and best practice is students 10 times reading। 10 times अगर आप रीड करेंगे, that will become a part of your permanent memory, and for not only one day, for 3 days, for 3 days, 10 times practice or 9 times practice, whatever you are comfortable, you can do. So students, auditing is an interesting subject. It is, this subject is linked to accountancy, this is linked to income tax, this is linked to company law. So students, this is interesting subject, and sir will start with the basics of auditing. Chapter 1 he will take up today, and with these words, sir will start. Sir, you can start, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, students. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv sir. And with words of wisdom, and I think students would follow his advice. So students, let us start our new subject. So I am CA Ashish Behel. So in the coming days, students, we shall be going through this subject, auditing and ethics. Okay, students. So we shall be starting with chapter 1, that is nature, objective and scope of audit. So students, before I start, before I go into the details of this chapter, students, let me ask you one thing. When you think of a CA, when you think of a chartered accountant, what do you think of him? What he is supposed to do? What is his core function? Yes, anybody? Yes, Durga, Rohan Kumar, Vandana, Afreen, Tamanna and all others, Bhavna, Preeti. Yes, guys. When you think of a chartered accountant, when you think of chartered accountancy as a profession, what do you think a CA is supposed to do? What do you think of him? What is in your mind? Yes, few answers. Yes, Rito Banerjee, he is saying audit. Anmol, audit and tax. Rama, audit is core function. Rahul, audit. Anmol, company formation, taxation consultant. Yes. So basically, you have a fair idea that auditing is one of the core areas which will be performed by a CA, by a chartered accountant, and after qualifying your exams, after qualifying your final exams, and after becoming a chartered accountant, many of you, or rather most of you, would also be uh, uh, in this core area, that is auditing. So students, you have to understand that auditing is the audit of financial statements is the exclusive domain of chartered accountants. Okay, so whenever we think of audit, we think of chartered accountants. Whenever any member of society, any member of public thinks of audit, he thinks of chartered accountant. Okay, so you understand how important this subject is, not only theoretically but also practically, because it is going to be related with all your professional activity, say after 3 years, 4 years down the line when you qualify as CA. Okay, so therefore it becomes very very important for you to understand the finer points of this subject, um, and it would help you not only in giving your best in your exams, but it would also uh, increase your knowledge of profession as a whole, of what you are supposed to do in your life as a professional after 3 4 years. So all these things would become clear to you as as you go through this subject. Okay, so this paper, auditing and ethics, is quite wide, students, and this subject is taught at both intermediate and final levels. Just like in case of accountancy, it is taught both at intermediate level and at final level. Okay, so that's clear, guys. So you understand the importance of auditing. First of all, uh, you have to uh, study with a mind frame that you are learning a very very important paper, you are learning a very very important subject. Okay, is that clear, students? So so students, tell me, what do you understand by auditing? So in this chapter we shall understand the nature of auditing, its meaning, objectives of an auditor, and all these things, and scope of audit, what an audit includes, what an audit doesn't include, all these things in a broad manner. Okay, and students, while studying, while reading, if you do not understand something, do not get disheartened, because it will take time for you to assimilate, the nitty and gritty of the subject, uh, and obviously during the process you may get disheartened, or you may feel frustrated, but you have to prepare, you have to learn in such a manner as Rajiv sir had told you. Okay, so students, tell me, what is your perception of auditing? How do you feel? Leave apart technical things that we will study what auditing means, but as I presume that most of you have heard the term audit, and what is your impression, what is your first hand impression of what do you mean by auditing? What an auditor normally does, what he is supposed to do, what is your perception about it? Do not browse through your study material. Just tell me, what do you think of an auditor in your own words, honestly? Yes. Yes, students, waiting for your mails. Bhavna, auditing means checking financial statements. Yes. Tamanna, to reconcile financial statements, to check whether books of accounts give true and fair view, examination of financial statements. Yes, inspecting the books. Aishwarya, examination of financial statements. Yes, Durga Datta, auditing in accordance with essays. Oh, Durga Datta, you know about essays already. So it means you have already studied the subject. Manish, it is a post facto activity of transaction. Yes. So more or less on the same lines, Amit, auditing for the first time after an explanation, I concluded that audit means verify or cross check of accounts. So broadly, yes, students, you have got a basic understanding of what auditing is all about. So now we will come to the technical part of what auditing is all about. So students, audit is what it is. It is an independent examination. Students, and kindly mark all the words carefully. Independent examination of financial information of an entity. So I am breaking the definition of auditing into some parts. So one part is this. Okay, it is an independent examination of financial information of an entity. So what is independent? Yes. What do we mean by independent? What is independence? So students, independence means a person who is not influenced by others, who acts on his own, who does not act on the wishes or directions of somebody else. Okay, so this is the basic pillar. This is the basic pillar in this definition, that it is an independent examination. So mark the word independence, that is very important. Okay, so we shall be reading about what is independence, what are different aspects of it later on. It would come in some another chapter, but for the time being you can understand this much, that independence means this thing. Okay, yes, without any interference. Yes, Sakshi, that's correct. Mohammed Sheikh, solely on self dependence. Yes. Janith, auditor has to verify all available cash and credit transactions. Avdesh Kumar, influenced. Yes, without any interruption. Jay Das. Yes. So you are understanding it in right perspective. You are understanding it in right manner. So independence means without being influenced by other. Okay. A person who does not act on the directions of others. Okay. So it is independent examination. Examination, you know, seeing something, verifying something, examine something of financial information. So it is independent examination of financial information. So what is financial information? Yes, students. What is financial information? Yes. Yes, guys, come on. I think most of you have come after clearing foundation exams. What is financial information? Yes, students, what is financial information? Financial information, students, all the information which is contained in the financial statements. What is contained in the financial statements? So you know balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, and say cash flow. These are all financial information. So all the information which is contained in these statements, like information regarding, say, trade receivables, regarding purchases, regarding turnover, regarding expenses, regarding fixed assets, regarding trade payables, regarding capital. So all this is financial information contained in financial statements. Okay. So it is independent examination of financial information of an entity. So entity means, so in auditing, students, you would see this word entity at many places. So entity means organization. So in auditing, we normally use the word entity, or it is in the definition, it is entity. So broadly, you can say any organization, say be it a company or be it a partnership firm or any else form of entity. Okay. So auditing is independent examination of financial information of an entity, whether profit oriented or not. So that is also important. Whether profit oriented or not. So an entity may be profit oriented or it may not be profit oriented. So what are the examples of an entity which is not profit oriented? Like say an NGO. It is not profit oriented entity, but it may also get its accounts audited. Okay. Irrespective of its size. Or legal form. So this should also be clear to you. Irrespective of its size or legal form, it means that size, that how big that entity is, how large that entity is, does not affect uh, whether it is going to be audited or not. Okay. Irrespective of its size or legal form. Legal form means how it is constituted legally. Like say, as I was already telling you, like whether it is a proprietorship concern, whether it is a partnership firm, it is a company, it is a public company, a listed company, or it is a trust, it is an NGO, whatever, it is an LLP, whatever. Okay. When such an examination is undertaken, when such an examination is undertaken, to express opinion So that is the crux. That is the most important thing, that it is an independent examination of financial information of an entity. However, when such an examination is undertaken to express opinion, so auditing in fact includes expression of opinion. So what is the final outcome of the auditing process? It is expression of opinion. After performing the audit, the auditor gives his or her opinion on the financial information of entity as comprised in financial statements. Clear, guys? So this is the basic thing, students. You have to assimilate the contents of this definition in your mind, because sometimes when we will move through and we will learn many other concepts, many other principles, many other terms, many procedures and standards on auditing, you lose sight of the basic things. Okay, and since fundamental is not clear to you, so therefore we tend to answer wrongly in the exams. Okay. Yes, Shamla. NGO means non-government organization. So clear, students? Is the definition part clear to you? And any student who has any doubt about the meaning and about the definition of audit? Yes. Yes, students. Any doubt? Any doubt? Tell me, guys. Any doubt you have in this basic definition of auditing? Yes, Ritika Gupta. Ritika is saying, please explain the last line once again. Yes, Ritika. Last line says, when such an examination is undertaken to express opinion. So students, like, say, assume you are having a balance sheet. Just I am talking about in very crude terms, very broad terms, crude terms, not finer points. Okay, you are auditor, you are having a balance sheet, so you examine the balance sheet. Okay, you perform all the procedures, but auditing doesn't mean only examination. It means when such an examination is conducted with a view to express opinion. Opinion means after doing all the work, after performing all the procedures, auditor gives his opinion. Auditor gives his opinion in the form of what? In the form of an audit report. Okay, he expressed his opinion through the medium of audit report to state what he has done, to state whether financial statements reflected true and fair view of the financial information contained in the financial statements, whether these have been prepared in accordance with the financial reporting framework, all these kind of things. So the logical outcome of whole auditing process is formation of an opinion which is expressed by the auditor his or her audit report. Yes, Ritika, clear to you now? Yes, Ritika, clear to you now? Yes, Ritika, tell me, is it clear to you now? Yes, Dolly. Now she is saying, what is independent examination? So independent, I have already explained, Dolly, at the beginning. I am again telling independent means without being influenced by others, without acting on the directions of somebody else, forming your own thing, forming your own opinion, without without being influenced by somebody else to do this. Okay, so the auditor would not be giving a favorable report or a clean report because the owner wants it to be so. So that is independence. Okay. Yes, clear. Devendra Singh, what is meant by size? Size means that it may be a small entity, it may be a large entity. Say it can be a multinational corporation having its places all over the world, or it can be a small company located in India. Okay, or it can be a company with say 10 crores of turnover, or it can be a company with 1000 crore of turnover. So size means relates to scale of operations, or it can be a company with only one plant, or it can be a company with 20 plants having branches all over the country. Is it clear? Yes, Devender. And now Ramchandra. Yes, Ramchandra is asking why they have called it opinion and verdict, not verdict. No, verdict. Verdict, Ramchandra, it is normally a term reserved for in judiciary for judges. Okay, so as you uh, as you learn, as you go through the subject, you will understand that why the word opinion has been used. Okay, because it is related to so many things. Uh, it is limited by the process of auditing is has certain limitations. It is limited by many things. So the word opinion is very appropriate. Okay. So all other little queries, small queries, these will be answered in due course as we move through the chapter. Aishwarya is saying legal form. Legal form meaning, Aishwarya, is that how an entity, how a concern is constituted legally. Say if a businessman is running a proprietorship firm, then he is sole proprietor of his business. Okay, or say few persons may hand joins together and form a firm. So this kind of constitution is partnership. Okay, similarly another kind of constitution is a company. When a company is formally incorporated under Companies Act, So, so this is what we mean by legal form. Okay. Now, Prince, you are asking repeat financial operations again. No, I have not used anywhere the term financial operations. Yes, Prince. So the term is financial information. Financial information is, look, students, again, very basic things. You see, when a business operates, transactions are taking place daily. Okay, at every hour, every day, transactions are taking place. Okay, say we take example of a manufacturing concern, we take example of a manufacturing entity. So it would be, what it would be doing, it would be making purchases of raw material. Okay, say, and it would be having machinery. The products, the final products would be manufactured. Okay, these would be ultimately sold, and the parties from whom raw material is being purchased, they might be willing, they might be extending some credit to this manufacturing firm. So creditors would be there, trade payables would be there, and when this firm is selling to the customers, so obviously they would be making payment after a certain time lag. So trade receivables, debtors would be there. So what is all this? This is, all this is recorded in books of accounts. First of all this is recorded in books of accounts. Okay, then from the books of accounts, financial statements are prepared. So all this information which is there in the books of accounts is reflected in the financial statements of that concern. Okay, now when financial statements have been prepared, there comes the role of auditor. Now whether these financial statements contain, have been prepared rightly, whether these have been prepared in accordance with the accounting standards. Okay, so all these things, whether these contain all the information required, whether these contain all the disclosures. Now who is going to check all these things, who is going to verify all these things? Now here comes the role of auditor. He examines. Okay, so you understand financial information? Yes. Who had asked this question? Yes, is that clear? Financial information, I think you were referring it to as financial operations. Yes, Nancy, you are asking, is it all organization have to audit mandatory? It is not necessary that all organizations need to have a mandatory audit. For companies in India, it is mandatory to have mandatory audit companies. But for all other forms, it might be required under some other law. Okay, or they might ask for voluntary audit due to the benefits of audit. So these all things we would be learning in this very chapter. Nancy Saxena. Yes, Ramchandra, you are asking again about verdict. So I have already explained to you. No, Kavin, legal form doesn't include illegal form. How you can say that? So Mohit, you are asking what is the study material relevant for us? So students and Mohit particularly, you have to read from the study material provided to you by Board of Studies of ICAI. And mind you, I tell you that not even a single question, not even a single would come in the exams which is outside from your Board of Studies material. So if you have understood, if you have learned the BOS material properly, you would come through your exams with in flying colors. Okay. Yes, Priyanka, all queries are being received. Yes, Ganga, again, students are asking to explain the second line once again of the auditing definition. That is, students, again, as I have told you at the beginning, have some patience. Have some patience. These words, these terms may be new for you, and it would take time for you to understand. Okay. So again, I am explaining, Ganga, that final outcome of an auditing process is expression of an opinion through audit report. Auditor ने सारा काम कर लिया. Okay, assume that auditor has done everything. Forget about right now what he is supposed to do, how he does it. Okay, forget about everything. So just assume that you are an auditor, you have completed the whole audit. Okay. Now what you are supposed to give? आपने audit कर लिया, what you are supposed to give? You would form your opinion, you would express your opinion through the medium of an audit report. So आपने किया क्या? What you have done, that would be reflected in the audit report through your opinion. Okay. Yes, Divya, all messages are visible. And the students, in auditing is a technical paper. In auditing, when you write, try to use right words. Like, say, you cannot write any word in place of opinion. You have to write opinion. Okay. There is no other word you can replace it with. So if you try to write any Tom and Jerry, so no marks would be awarded. It doesn't mean that you have to write same lines. You can express it in your own words, but the point is that key terms, key words, these have to be written as it is, as these appear. So this was what Rajiv sir was telling you initially, that you have to create a backup of words. So when you study the subject, when you go through the subject, and when you learn it, you would definitely have a battery of backup of such words. Okay. Yes, Gunjan, everything is visible. Yes, Priyanka, voluntary or whether audit is voluntary or mandatory. I have given you a hint. So we'll be coming to this topic. So printed books, yes, Hetal, you might not have received printed books, but the material is available on online. So by the time, due to logistics consideration, because the syllabus has now been changed from May 24 examination, so the whole modules are being printed. So obviously you would be getting these in due course of time, but obviously you can see the material online, and if you want to study, then you can start by downloading it and taking a printout of the same. You can download one chapter and take a printout of the same of 20-30 pages and start reading, start studying. What is the issue? Yes, Pawan, you are saying I don't have new book, study with old book of ICAI for November. Yes, for November 23 exams, Pawan, old syllabus is applicable, as you know, but for May 24, you have to read from this new module. Okay, because uh, uh, syllabus has changed, and particularly in auditing, the syllabus has undergone change drastically. Okay. Yes, Vishwajit, all these things we shall be coming. Voluntary audit means where an entity opts for an audit on its own, when it is not required under a law, when it is not required legally, but still that organization, they decide to get their accounts audited. Why? Because of the some obvious benefits, some of the advantages which they feel that they will get by getting their accounts audited. Okay. Yes, Sahu SK. Yes. Good question. I would answer this question. Difference between assurance and ethics. Yes, Miss Charitra. She is saying, will there be any MCQs in the paper? Yes, there would be MCQs in the paper. 30 marks is reserved for MCQs and case scenario based MCQs, and 70 marks is descriptive paper. Okay. Yes, Amit, you can make notes in any way as you are comfortable with. Yes, Sarvan Karthik, you are saying when all portion will be completed by which month? Now this is for Board of Studies to decide as per their schedule. And the question which Sahu has asked, that last time the paper name was Auditing and Assurance, and now it is Auditing and Ethics. So he wants to know the difference between these two things. So both these terms are connected with auditing, Sahu. So what is assurance? You would also see this term many times in this chapter and your study material. It is providing comfort. So when an auditor expresses opinion, he provides comfort To whom? To the users. Okay. So assurance, you understand, to provide comfort, to assure somebody. So auditing in itself is an assurance engagement. You have to understand that auditing is an assurance engagement. It provides assurance. Assure means, assurance is derived from the word assure. Assurance is derived from the word assure to assurance. So what is assure? Assure is to provide comfort. Okay, to use plain Hindi, assure means तसल्ली देना. Okay, comfort dena. So what is the meaning of that? So when somebody sees financial statements audited by an auditor, audited by a chartered accountant, then what does he get? He gets a comfort. He gets a sort of comfort. He gets a assurance. He gets an assurance. Okay, that financial statements have been audited by a professional auditor. Okay, in accordance with standards. Okay. Yes. No, MCQs do not have negative marks. MCQs do not have negative marks. Srishti. Yes, 2 classes are scheduled morning and evening. So now we come to your module. Yes, guys. Now you can open your module. So students, this is your first chapter. So students, now ICAI Board of Studies has also provided you a story in the beginning of each chapter of auditing. So by reading that story, you can understand the context, what you are going to read in this very chapter. Okay. So I will request you to go through this story, and then uh, you can know about the context of the chapter, of what are the actual contents of this chapter. Okay. So students, we had learned this definition. So I'll come again to the preceding pages. So this is the definition which we have learned. So again I am repeating, an audit is an independent examination of financial information of an entity, whether profit oriented or not, and irrespective of its size or legal form. When such an examination is conducted with a view to expressing an opinion thereon. So it is the same thing which we had learned. Okay. So it states that audit is an independent examination of financial information. Okay. Yes. Sorry, Sahu and Tejas, I had forgot about ethics, about telling you about ethics. So the question was, what is the difference between assurance and ethics? So assurance I have already explained to you, and ethics means what are ethics? Ethics are sort of moral principles governing somebody's behavior, like uh, like an auditor. Students, you have to understand, he has to perform all the work ethically. Like, he cannot certify false information. Okay, he has to work objectively by applying his own mind, by seeing the facts as they are, by seeing the circumstances as they are. Okay, and he has to remain updated and perform all the work with professional competence. So all these things go to form part of ethics. So ethics is very important in auditing. The auditor has to conduct the audit keeping in view principle of ethics. So as regards ethics is concerned, you will also be studying a little part of it in at intermediate level. Okay, so what are ethics? What are the fundamental principles of ethics? All this you would be learning in your chapter 11, in last chapter. Okay, so you understand, you get a fair idea of what ethics are all about. Okay, so independence is also related to ethics. No, Devender, sorry, we cannot provide you any such number. If you have any subject related, you want to ask something related to subject, you can ask on the numbers of BUS faculties. Okay, that are available online, or that would be given you by Rajesh sir when he comes next time. Okay. Yes, Suman, ethics is not only honesty, but it relates to that. It is a part of it. Okay. Vishwajit, again, assurance I have already explained. Assurance means providing comfort. Assurance means providing comfort to the users of financial statements. Now, who are the users? अगर audited financial statements हैं तो उसके users कौन है? Say उसके users, these can be creditors, these can be bankers, these can be general public, these can be shareholders. Okay, so it provides a comfort. So assurance means providing a comfort. So independence means judgment of a person is not subordinate to the wishes or directions of another person who might have engaged him. Okay, so this is this already I have explained to you. So the auditor should be independent of entity whose financial statements are subject to audit, so that he can form an opinion without being affected and by any external influence. So independence increases auditors' ability to act objectively without creeping in of any biases. So that is very important. Say, students, if an auditor is not independent, then it might so happen that some prejudices, some biases come in his judgment. He is not able to view the things independently. He is not able to view the facts as they are. He is not able to view the facts objectively. Okay, so that is what we mean by independence. Okay, like an example is given below. So say if a person who requests his brother a CA to audit accounts of his concern, okay, there is a proprietorship concern, and the proprietorship concern, the proprietor's brother is a chartered accountant, assume. Okay, so if the proprietor asks his brother to audit accounts of his proprietorship concern, can he issue an independent report? Okay, no, he would not be able to issue an independent report, because due to their natural relationship, he would be subject to influence from his brother. Okay, so there would be no independence left. Or say take another case where a CA has invested in shares of a company. Can he audit accounts of such a company in which he holds shares? So who is a shareholder? Yes, students, tell me. In the context of a company, what do we mean by shareholders? Yes, Reshma, ethics are most important for chartered accountants. These are very important for chartered accountants. Yes, MCQs, Devinder Singh, all these parts will be coming to later on. There are 4 sessions, 4 lectures devoted to this chapter. So definitely we would be doing MCQs. And then I will be testing your knowledge, what you have understood. So for the time being, try to focus on what you are listening. Okay, so that when you read the chapter, you are able to learn the concepts. Okay. Yes, Sonia, Urvi, Malvika, Bhavna. Yes, my question was that if a person has acquired shares of a company, so what does he become? What he is? So some of you have given correct answer. Yes, he becomes honor. He becomes honored to that extent, to the extent of holding of shares. Okay. So if an auditor, if a person who is going to audit the accounts of a company, he holds shares of a company, so would he remain independent? No. Because why? Because his own money is invested in the company. So how, when my own money is invested in the company, then my view, my judgment, it gets distorted. It gets biased. So I would not be able to express my opinion objectively on the facts. Okay, so in that case also I would not be independent. So these are few small easy examples. So as I have told you, students, you would be learning more about the concept of independence in the coming chapters, particularly in chapter number 11. Okay. Yes, Lakshay, you are asking what is meant by Biases. Biases means prejudice. Bias means, say, when I try to favor somebody, when I do not form my opinion on the facts, what is there on the facts, on the basis of paper, on the basis of facts which are before me, but rather I form my opinion on the basis of my prejudices, my biases, what others say, what are the requirements of somebody else, but I fail to form my opinion uh, as is required in accordance with the standards on auditing. Okay, clear, guys. Yes, Lakshya, is it clear to you what do we mean by biases? Like say I give you a very simple example. Say if you say if your paper is examined, say any paper of any exam, say your class 12 exam is examined by your school teacher. Okay, so there would be chances of biases creeping in her or his examination, because the teacher knows you, and she has you have read, you have studied in his or her class throughout the year. Okay, but say when the paper goes in the board for checking, okay, the examiner in the board, does he know you? No, he doesn't know you. So there is only what you have written in your exam paper is before him, and he would be awarding marks to you on the basis of what you have written objectively. There is no chance of biases creeping in. There is no chance of prejudices creeping in. कि वो that this student Lakshay is living near my house, he is known to my aunt, his father is known to my father, so all these kind of things would not be there. Okay, clear to you, Lakshay? Yes, that is very important for Lakshay, you to understand what is meant by biases. Yes. So students, we are taking time to start with this chapter. So I don't think you are getting bored. So if you are getting bored, tell me. So I am trying my best to make this what you call as a dull subject a little bit lively, a little bit interesting for you. Okay. So if you are getting bored, do tell me, students, so that I can improve upon. Yes, Raghavendra is what you are saying. Yes, Tamanna. Yes, you are right. Yes, Sarvana, you are writing. When we become CA, we do not have rights to compute our own business entity. Ah, yes. Sarvana, what you are meaning to say? say when you, what I understand you are writing, when you become CA and there would be your own profession, there would be your own, you are earning from your profession, then whether you would be auditing your own firm's accounts, yes, you can't do so. Your own firm's accounts of a CA firm, you would have to get it audited from somebody else, from another firm of chartered accountants, because how you can audit your own financial statements, your own balance sheet? Where would be independence? Yes, you are thinking it logically. That is the right way to think. Yes. No, he can't hold Janet. No, Malvika, you are saying if auditor gets paid for auditing, he is dependent upon the company. No, that is his right. Professional fees is right. So all these things are documented while auditing. Once auditor accepts the engagement, the audit engagement, then he has to perform in accordance with the standards on auditing. Okay. Yes, Sadika Arif, you are saying you have to learn examples. So examples are there for your better understanding. Yes, this is also the reason. Yes. Okay. So you are saying to move forward. So again, the same thing is written. The entity whose financial information is examined need not necessarily be profit oriented. So this I have already explained. Non-profit entities are NGOs, trusts. Okay, so this I have already explained. So purpose of audit is to express an opinion on the financial statements. So this is the outcome of audit. This is very important. So the purpose of audit is to express an opinion on the financial statements. Yes, guys. Now you are coming on risk. We shall be coming to all these things. Now you are, I think I've kick-started your mind and you are asking the right logical questions. But these will be all your queries will be answered as we move through. Okay. And students, one more important concept you have to remember. Tell me, sometimes in the maze of all the things we learn, we forget one basic concept. And what is the basic concept? Basic concept is that preparation and presentation of financial statements of an organization, of an entity, is responsibility of management, students. This is very, very important. फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनाना, बैलेंस शीट बनाना, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस बनाना, ये जिम्मेवारी किसकी है? दिस इज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ मैनेजमेंट. Auditor's roles is comes afterwards. It relates to examination of those financial statements. Primary responsibility of preparation and presentation of financial statement is that of the management, is that of the organization, is that of the company. Remember, guys. Okay, so the auditor does his work, he performs the procedures, and finally expresses opinion on the financial statements by means of written audit report. Okay, so he finally issues a written audit report. Okay, so guys, this is very important. Remember, sometimes students make this kind of mistake because they are not clear about the fundamentals. Okay, so remember that preparation and presentation of financial statements of an entity is responsibility of the management of entity. This is very, very important. Okay, so Priya, independence, concept of independence depends upon the circumstances, and it depends, and the person, a professional has to exercise his own professional judgment in this respect. So circumstances differ. So in case two independence doesn't mean that if two persons know each other, they can't be independent. Okay. However, where there is relationship, there is natural relationship, there is relationship by due to birth. Okay. So those are definitely, those relationships are definitely not independent. Okay. So what does the auditor ensure? He ensures that financial statements would not be misleading. So what does he ensure? The accounts have been drawn up with reference to entries in books of accounts. Okay. So as I've discussed, guys, when transactions take place, these are recorded in the books of accounts of an organization, of an entity. Okay, and then financial statements are prepared, then balance sheet, profit and loss is prepared. This much you know. Okay. Now the auditor would see that financial statements have been drawn up with reference to entries in books of accounts. Obviously, it would be his duty to see that accounts have been drawn up on the basis of books of accounts. Okay, what are the balances appearing in the books of accounts? Financial statements reflect those balances and transactions. Okay. And second point is, entries in books of accounts are adequately supported by sufficient and appropriate evidence. So if there are entries in books of accounts, guys, which are not backed by any evidence, say if I make entry in the books of accounts and I debit 50,000 rupees to purchase account and credit 50,000 to supplier Mr. X. However, I do not have any paper, I do not have any evidence to support that transaction. So would auditor be in a position to accept that transaction? Tell me. Would auditor be in a position to accept that transaction? I just make an entry in books of accounts, debit purchase 50,000, credit Mr. X 50,000. Would the auditor be able to accept that transaction? Yes, students, tell me. Would auditor be able to accept that transaction, such a transaction? No, he can't. Because why? Because the entries in books of accounts are not supported by evidence. Or suppose, say, if there is entry in books of accounts of purchase of a fixed asset, and say machinery is debited for rupees 2 lakhs, and Mr. X is credited with rupees 2 lakhs, and a bill is not there, then can an auditor accept such a transaction? No, the answer is no. So the entries in books of accounts are adequately supported by sufficient and appropriate evidence. Okay. None of the entries in books of accounts has been omitted in the process of compilation. That is also very important. So all the entries which were required to be made have been passed. These have not been omitted. Say I make a sale of rupees 10,000 rupees on the last day of 31st March. The bill was issued, but it was not entered in books of accounts. So whether sales reflected in the financial statements would be complete or not? Tell me whether it would be complete or not. Yes, Bhavika, you are jumping to audit report. We will show you audit reports, but these are at the later stages. So none of the entries in books of account has been omitted in the process of compilation. No, it is not complete because sales have taken place, but it is not recorded in books of accounts. So it is also duty of the auditor, it is also responsibility of the auditor to see that none of the entries in books of accounts has been omitted in the process of compilation. Okay. The information conveyed by the statements is clear and unambiguous. So financial information conveyed by financial statements is clear. It is not doubtful. Unambiguous means clear, without any doubt. Okay. Financial statement amounts are properly classified, described, and disclosed in conformity with accounting standards. Now that is also very important. Yes, students, I think as most of you have come through foundation, you must have learnt a little bit of accounting standards. Do you know what are accounting standards? रेशमा is saying she needs a break. अभी रेशमा, अभी तो बहुत आगे सफर जाना है, इतना लंबा, इतनी जल्दी आप थक जाएंगे when you would get exhausted, and how it will go through. We'll take a break after some time. Yes. Yes, guys, do you know about accounting standards? Yes, any one of you? So I think in evening there is class of accountancy, your class of accountancy. So you would be learning about accounting standards. Now here tell me brief about what do you know about accounting standards? Yes, written policy documents. Yes, pages you are copying from your board of studies material, or you are reading the subject again. Set of rules to be followed, yes. Policies, procedures. For what? For preparation of financial statements. So students, you have to understand that financial statements are to be prepared in accordance with accounting standards. Okay. So there are accounting standards. So in case of non-corporate entities and certain categories of companies, certain accounting standards are applicable, and in case of listed companies, large companies, and certain class of companies, Ind AS are applicable, as you know. So these are both these categories are accounting standards. Understand this much. So who would check, who would verify, who would examine that financial statement amounts are properly classified, described and disclosed in conformity with accounting standards? What the accounting standards ask to do, the same has been followed or not? Who would ensure this? Now auditor would ensure this, auditor would see this. Okay, clear guys? So how many accounting standards are there? Yes guys, do you remember how many accounting standards are there? कितने accounting standards हैं? मालूम है किसी को कितने accounting standards हैं? Yes, Anjana has already written that 27 AS are there. Yes, first AS का नाम क्या है बताएंगे कोई? Which is the AS1 which you would be reading today in your evening class of accountancy? Yes, AS1 का नाम कोई बताएगा? किसी को पता है AS1 का नाम क्या है? Yes students, tell me. अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 1 का क्या नाम है? Yes, disclosure of accounting policies. Yes, Ramachandra, you are correct. Disclosure of accounting policies. Yes. So AS1 is disclosure of accounting policies. AS2 is valuation of inventories. Okay. So and so on. And last thing, the statements of accounts presented true and fair picture of the operational results and of the assets and liabilities. Now what the auditor would ensure? The auditor would ensure that statements, whether he has to give opinion whether statements reflect a true and fair picture of the operational results. Now what are the operational results? Operational results means of the profit or loss. Okay, so whatever the transactions the company has done, whatever the operations the company has undertaken during the year, now whether it has resulted into a profit or a loss. Okay, and what is the financial statement position, what is the position of assets and liabilities, the auditor has to state that in his audit report. Okay, so clear students? Is that clear? Now nature. So students, what we understand by nature of a thing? Nature का क्या मतलब है? What do we mean by nature? Nature, how a thing is. You understand? How a thing is. Nature basically means what is its basic form, how a thing is, how it is viewed as, what is its purpose. So all these things are connected with nature. Okay. So as I have already told you, auditing provides what? Auditing provides assurance. Auditing provides assurance. So what is assurance? Assurance means giving comfort. Understand, this is very important. Auditing provides assurance, and what does the assurance means? Giving comfort, giving confidence to users. Okay. So its basic nature lies in providing assurance to users, in providing confidence to users of financial statements. Okay. So auditing provides confidence to users of financial statements that they are reading the financial statements for which an audit has been conducted by a professional person. So they can draw a comfort. उनको इससे एक सेटिस्फेक्शन मिलती है, उनका लेवल ऑफ सेटिस्फेक्शन इससे इंक्रीज होता है, उनका लेवल ऑफ कंफर्ट इससे इंक्रीज होता है. ओके. So such an assurance lends credibility to financial statements. Okay. So when financial statements are audited by a professional like a chartered accountant, then it adds more weight. It adds more weight. It gives more weightage. It lends strength to those financial statements. It makes them more credible. It makes them more trustworthy. Okay. So audited financial statements provide confidence to users that financial information reflected in financial statements can be relied upon. Okay. So how they see how, say if a person reads audited financial statements, then he gets a confidence that he can rely on the figures stated in those financial statements, that these have been audited by a professional, by a person of professional caliber who has performed his work diligently, professionally, with all the competence in accordance with the necessary standards. Okay. So all these things go to provide comfort to the users of financial statements. So this is what we mean by the word assurance. Okay. Now a student had asked just now some time back that what is the meaning of assurance. So I had explained at that time also. So now you can understand what do we mean by assurance, that auditing provides assurance. What type of assurance it provides, that we would be reading subsequently. Okay. Now Anmol, audit of financial statements. As far as audit of financial statements is concerned, expressing opinion on financial statements is concerned, it is a field reserved exclusively for chartered accountants. As far as expression of an opinion is concerned. Okay. There are other types of audits also, but broadly you can understand that as far as audit of financial statements is concerned, this is the field reserved for chartered accountants, for CAs. Okay. Yes, Miss Pasla, you are asking what type of questions. So first you devote your time in understanding the subject. Try to assimilate the nature of subject, what the subject is all about. We shall be talking about questions and all those exam oriented things, but at least in the first lecture, in the first 2-3 lectures, try to grasp the fundamentals of the subject which you are going to study. Okay. Yes, Ritika. Ritika is saying credibility to financial statement means, credibility means that the person who is relying upon those financial statements, he gets a comfort that he is relying on certain figures which are which have been examined by a professionally competent professional. Okay. And therefore these are reliable. This is meant by credibility. Therefore these are reliable. Like say, assume, had there been no concept of auditing, assume students, hypothetically आप assume करिए कि अगर auditing का कोई concept ना होता तो कोई भी कंपनी, कोई भी एनी बॉडी, वो तो खुद ही फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स तो खुद ही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, वो ये अंडरस्टूड, बनाने की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी किसकी है? कंपनी की। तो मैं तो खुद ही फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट बनाई और उसका कोई, उसमें क्या यूनिफॉर्मिटी है? क्या वो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से बनाई गई है? क्या जो इंफॉर्मेशन उसमें लिखी गई है रिफ्लेक्ट कर रही है? क्या वो ठीक है या गलत है? इस चीज को कौन इंश्योर करेगा? इस चीज को ऑडिटर इंश्योर करेगा। एंड व्हेन ही इंश्योर्स दैट, इन द प्रोसेस ही मेक्स श्योर दैट by doing so financial statements are reliable, these are more credible. Okay. Yes, Rama Devi, users mean like when financial statements are prepared, they can be used by n number of persons. Rama Devi, by n number of persons. Say you go to a concern goes to bank for getting a loan, then banker would be reading those audited balance sheets. So banker is user here. Okay. Or say the audited balance sheet is submitted in income tax department for paying taxes. Okay. Then government authorities are users. So this is what we mean by users of financial statements. Okay. Yes, Dilip. Unambiguous. You are asking unambiguous. Unambiguous means which is doubtful. Unambiguous means clear, very clear, crystal clear. जिसके बारे में कोई डाउट नहीं है. Unambiguous. Okay. Yes, guys. Is that clear up till right now? Yes, students. So we'll take a short break of 5 minutes here. Only 5 minutes, guys. A break for 5 minutes. Yes, welcome back, guys. So there was this topic which was left out, students. Origin of auditing. So, students, is auditing a only a recent concept, a concept which dates back to only say 50, 70 years back or 100 years back? Probably not. Students, this concept of auditing has existed in ancient times also, although obviously in some rudimentary form. Even the reference to auditing is found in Kautilya's Arthashastra, even in 4th century BC. So, Arthashastra students, you have heard about this book, Kautilya's Arthashastra. So you might have read it in history books. So it also talks about in 4th century BC. It also talked about fixed accounting year, okay, process for closure of accounts, and periodic checking of accounts and verification of accounts. Okay, so all this was to stop abuse of power by the king or its bureaucracy, so that money is used for the welfare of the people. Okay, so this was the this so we can say that auditing was present even in the ancient times. So as the time progressed, uh, industrial revolution took place in Europe, and students at that time, uh, there was due to industrial revolution in Europe, there was manifold increase in trade and industry in business. So whenever there is increase in business, whenever there is increase in trade industry, obviously हिसाब किताब तो रखना पड़ेगा. Accounts would have to be kept. Okay, so so from there also in modern times emerged the term auditing, where the auditors used to hear the accounts. Okay, and to check that employees were not negligent and careless. The businesses used to tell the accounts. Okay, so auditor used to hear them. Okay, so ultimately then the practice of bookkeeping in written forms emerged, and uh, uh, consequently auditing in its modern version emerged. Okay, and as far as India is concerned, first Auditor General of India was appointed in British India. Okay, when Britishers were there. So later on, the Auditor General was given statutory recognition, and presently CAG, you have heard, Comptroller and Auditor General of India is an independent constitutional authority. It is an independent constitutional authority. The provisions for Comptroller and Auditor General of India, who is responsible for auditing government receipt and expenditure. Okay, it is vested in the authority of Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and in our constitution, in Constitution of India itself. Okay, and as you know that after we gained independence in 1949, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI, was established as a statutory body to regulate profession of chartered accountancy in the country. Okay, so till in 1949 there were few members. Now we have members running in lakhs. Okay, So this is the basically context of auditing, basic origin of auditing, how the discipline of auditing developed. You would be reading more about Comptroller and Auditor General of India and functions performed by this office in a subsequent chapter. Okay, so CAG, you have to understand that Comptroller and Auditor General of India is responsible for auditing government receipts and expenditure. For government receipt and expenditure. And in respect of government companies also, it has got a certain role. Okay, that you would be also reading in that chapter that is on audit of different entities. But as far as business entities are concerned, the auditing field is there for chartered accountants. They act as auditors. Okay. So clear, guys? Now, another thing which is related to the nature of auditing is its interdisciplinary nature. Auditing as a subject, students, it is interdisciplinary nature. So what do we mean by interdisciplinary? Yes. Yes, students. Anybody? Anyone? What can we understand by the term interdisciplinary? Yes. Have you any idea, guys? What is meant by interdisciplinary? What is meaning of this term? Interdisciplinary. Yes, only two males have come. Rito and Tejas. Yes, multiple fields, interconnected, interlinked. Yes, not Sudarshan, not self-disciplinary. No, 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 that's wrong. Not self-disciplinary. Interdisciplinary means connected with many other things, connected with many other subjects. So how auditing is connected with many other subjects? Now you know that auditing is concerned with accountancy, isn't it? Accountancy is the very basis, क्योंकि the auditor is examining financial statements prepared from what? Prepared from books of accounts. So that is why auditing has a very close and intimate relationship with accountancy. Without accountancy, auditing cannot exist. Okay, clear? And there are many other things to which auditing is related, like law. Auditing is also related with law. Like, say, if you are a company auditor, then you must have knowledge of the Companies Act. Otherwise you do not know about the provisions of the Companies Act. Otherwise you do not know about how a company functions. What are the legal provisions for the functioning of company? You do not know. So then you would not be able to express your opinion properly. Okay, like another sort of law, like say taxation law, you need to have knowledge of income tax law and other and other indirect taxes. Okay, so auditing is related to accounts, auditing is related to law, Auditing is related to other things, other subjects like say behavioral science and psychology. So why do we why do we say that auditing is related with behavioral science or psychology? Yes. Can anybody tell? Yes, Rahul Sharma. Yes, tell me what you want to ask. Yes, Rahul, tell me what you want to ask. How auditing is connected with behavioral science? Yes, tell me. Behavioral science means you study human behavior, human interaction. Now, how tell me how auditing can be connected to behavioral science? Any reasonable guesses? Yes, students, just open up. You need not answer any time correctly. Apply your mind and answer logically. How auditing can be connected to human behavior, to study of human behavior? Yes, tell me. No, Rituraj, no, he cannot audit. He cannot audit. Yes. Now you are writing, yes, for to know the human behavior, nature of human and businessman tendency. Yes, somewhat right. Fraud is increasing, Srinivasan. So behavioral science is helpful. Yes. To know the duty. No, energy cost saving. No, Sankaran, this is quite off the mark. So when we say that auditing is connected with the study of human behavior also, say students, when an auditor conducts audit, then obviously he has to interact with a lot of people. So audit cannot be conducted in a vacuum, that these financial statements have been given to me and I am supposed to audit. It is not that way. The auditor has to interact with a lot of people in the organization, he in the entity, in the company. He has to communicate with lot of people, with say directors, with CFO, while conducting audit. So by experience, so if a person who closely watches human behavior, he knows, a good auditor would always know how the other person is going to react to queries raised by him. So by he knows that, an experienced auditor would know that how, whether another person is hiding information from me or not. So these things come with obviously come with experience. So that is why we say that auditing is concerned with study of human behavior also, with behavioral science also. Okay, because say if I as an auditor pose query to somebody, and that person uh, is making excuses, or say he is behaving in a different way, so as to duck that query. So obviously I get that feeling that something might be wrong. Okay. Yes, Shivam, it is a live session, but you can't, but we can't, you can't talk to me face to face. Whatever query you have in your mind, you can send through mail. Okay. Yes, Rito. Now you are saying what happens if auditor finds that information which he is calling for has not been provided, then accordingly the auditor would might conclude that complete information has not been provided to him, and accordingly he can give his opinion. Okay. Yes, Tanchika, all messages are I am getting, so there's a lot of mails that are coming. So obviously it is not possible for me uh, to speak out name of every one of you. Okay. And auditing is also connected with financial management. Okay. Auditing is also connected with financial management. So what is financial management, guys? You know financial management? You know, guys, financial management. What is financial management? Like study about business cycles, study about fund flow, study about working capital management, study about modes of financing, how capital is raised. Okay, study about ratio analysis. So all these things comprise part of financial management. So these all things help the auditor also, if he has a knowledge of all these things, these help him to analyze the financial statements in a better way. Okay. And if the auditor has knowledge of financial markets, then it is also helpful. Say if the company is listed company and the auditor is has knowledge of how markets operate, then he is also having knowledge of financial markets, obviously, then it helps him in performing his procedures, in conducting the audit in a better way. Similarly, auditing is also connected with economics and statistics. So how auditing is concerned with statistics? Now, students, you would learn that the auditor is not in a position to check each and every transaction. Okay, so auditor normally does his work on a sample basis. Okay, so he draws a sample which is representative of the population. So when he is drawing a sample of the population to be tested, so he relies upon statistical techniques. Okay, so that is also why study of statistics is related to auditing. And study of economics, it helps the auditor to understand the broad economic environment in which what is the macroeconomic environment in which the company is functioning. Okay, or in which in the industry in which it operates. So it gives him also a broader perspective. Okay. So therefore, students, we understand that nature of auditing, the nature of auditing is interdisciplinary. It is not restricted to one area. It is not restricted to one domain. Okay. Its nature is interdisciplinary. It relates to many disciplines. It relates to many subjects, and it draws from many subjects. And it by drawing from many subjects, it creates its own reservoir. its own reservoir of knowledge. Okay. So in the process of drawing from different subjects, the auditing process is more useful. The auditing enriches itself. Okay. Clear, guys? Interdisciplinary nature of auditing clear to you? So these are some things in brief given to you. Now we come to objectives of audit. Now, Bhavika, you are asking how it is related to data processing. Bhavika, it is nowadays the books of accounts are being kept in using computers, and so therefore there are many IT aspects relating to information technology which are to be looked by the auditor, relating to IT controls and how the information is processed by the company, so that he gains satisfaction that it is reliable. Okay, so it is in this context that it is related to it. Okay. Yes, Bhavika, clear to you? Now we come to objectives of auditing. So students, now from this chapter onwards, all your chapters in your modules are based upon some or other standards on auditing. Now, what are these standards on auditing? Now remember, students, these are different from accounting standards. Do not confuse accounting standards with standards on auditing. Accounting standards relate to preparation of financial statements. Okay, whereas standards on auditing, these relate to auditor's responsibility while conducting the audit. So these deal with how the auditor has to conduct audit, what procedures have to be performed by the auditor. Okay, so most of your chapters, or not all, most of your chapters in both modules are based upon some standard on auditing. So there are about 38 standards on auditing. If I am not wrong exactly, there are about 38 standards on auditing. And these standards on auditing deal virtually with every aspect of auditing. It deals with what is the nature of audit, what are the objectives of an audit. It deals with how an audit is to be planned. It deals with how risks are to be assessed. These deal with how these deal with audit evidence. Okay, and to a whole range of things, virtually with every responsibility associated with audit of financial statements. Okay, so remember these terms: standards on auditing. Do not confuse it with accounting standards. Accounting standards are different, which you know, which you have gained some knowledge in your foundation, and which you would be reading in your accountancy classes now. Okay, standards on auditing are totally different. These deal with responsibilities of auditor. These deal with responsibilities of auditor while performing audit. Okay. Is that clear, students? So these deal with all the aspects. Again, I am repeating. These deal with all the aspects. How audit is to be planned. Okay. What is audit strategy? What is audit plan? What procedures are to be performed while conducting audit? What is the nature of audit evidence? How audit evidence is obtained? So all these things are dealt by standards on auditing. Okay. Yes, Rahul, you are asking what is the role of auditor in an organization? Now your question is, I would say, ambiguous. What do you mean to say by that? Auditor is, as far as auditor of financial statement is concerned, he is an independent person. He is an outside person. Okay, as he is an outside person relative to the entity, relative to the organization. Yes. Tell me what else you want to ask, Rahul. Yes, Jogender, if you write correct essay, that would be very good. So as you go through, you would be learning name of various essays. As we scroll down the course, as we wander through these chapters, okay, you would automatically remember the names of various standards on auditing. Yes, Rahul. Yes, Rahul, do you want to ask something else? So first essay is essay 200. So this, in fact, this chapter itself is largely based upon essay 200. Okay, so substantial amount of material which you are reading in this chapter, students, is based upon essay 200. Yes, students, can you hear me? Yes, students, can you hear me? Anmol, I am not, you are saying that I am mute, I am not mute. Yes, students, tell me if you can hear me. Confirm that you are able to hear me, you are able to listen to me. Okay. So Anmol, there may be problem at your end. Yes, Rahul, you are asking what position an auditor? Audit, it is not an position within the organization. Auditor is external to organization. So he is acting. If I am acting as auditor, I am acting as auditor of the company. Okay, nothing else. I do not have any hierarchy within the organizational setup of the company. So this is precisely probably what you wanted to ask. So I am external to the company as I am an independent person. So I do not have any hierarchical level in the organizational setup of the company. मेरी कोई पोजीशन कोई डायरेक्टर की तरह नहीं है. I am not an employee of the company. So auditor is not an employee of the company. You understand? Yes. Hope Rahul, it is clear to you. So what is the name of this essay? Essay 200, fairly long name of this essay is Overall Objectives of Independent Auditor and Conduct of an Audit in Accordance with Standards on Auditing. So as you can understand, ये chapter जो है, it is largely based upon essay 200 because essay 200 deals with overall objectives of independent auditor and conduct of an audit of financial statements in accordance with standards on auditing. Okay, तो independent auditor के objectives क्या हैं? What are the objectives of independent auditors? So yes, Rahul, we shall be coming it to later on. There is a complete chapter on this. Internal audit, there is a complete chapter on this. And even in this chapter, I will be touching this concept. Okay. Yes, yes, Jogender, you have given a good example. So, what are the objectives of an independent auditor? So, we have understood the nature, that nature of audit is to provide assurance, to provide comfort. Now, what are the objectives of an independent auditor? Now, as per SA 200, remember SA 200, Standards on Auditing. Remember the correct name, Standards on Auditing. The word is Standards on Auditing. Again, I am emphasizing because in auditing, you would be reading about standards on auditing. Only you would be reading about essays. So we call these in short as essays. Standards on auditing. Yes, Suman, as I've told you, we'll be taking up MCQs. There are 4 sessions to this chapter. So keep patience first. थोड़ा पढ़ तो लो, MCQs की बात तो बाद में आएगी. पहले थोड़ा अंडरस्टैंड तो करो सब्जेक्ट को कि वो क्या चीज है, तभी तो MCQs कर पाएंगे आप. So objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance. Now this word is very important, guys. To obtain reasonable assurance about whether financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. अब students, understand each word in this objective carefully. अब आप MCQ की बात कर रहे थे, अब इसमें से MCQ बन सकते हैं. क्या है, क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव है ऑडिटर का? टू ऑब्टेन रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस. विच काइंड ऑफ एश्योरेंस? रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस. वी हैव लर्नड that auditing provides assurance, but what kind of assurance? It is only a reasonable assurance. So what is the meaning of reasonable assurance? Reasonable assurance means that it is not a guarantee. The auditor only provides a reasonable assurance. He does not provide a guarantee. He does not say that there cannot be any mistake in books of accounts. He cannot say that I guarantee this, that there are no mistakes in books of accounts. इसमें से एक पैसे की भी गलती नहीं निकल सकती. No, this is not the case. He only provides a reasonable assurance. Now, what is reasonable assurance? So reasonable assurance, students, is not absolute assurance. It is a high level of assurance. Although it is a high level of assurance, but it is high level of assurance, but not a complete guarantee. So high level of assurance कैसे है? How it is high level of assurance? So high level of assurance means since the auditor is performing all his work in accordance with standards of on auditing in a professional manner, so therefore it gives a high level of assurance. Okay, but it is below from giving guarantee. It is not a total guarantee, not absolute guarantee. It is not absolute assurance that there cannot be any error or fraud. He cannot. Why? Now my next question to you is why it is a reasonable assurance? Yes, students, can you tell me? Apply your mind logically, quick. Do not study, do not read from the module. Apply your own common sense, kickstart your mind, and tell me why the auditor provides only a reasonable assurance. Why he cannot provide a guarantee? Yes, it is a high level of assurance. Now, Avdesh, when you write in auditing, uh, do not in keywords, do not try to insert your own words like you are writing super high. No, you cannot write in the exam super high. You have to write it is a high level of assurance. In key terms, in while using key phrases, you have to be extra careful not to insert some silly things on your own account. Okay. Yes. Why? Yes, few people have written correctly Shivam because he uses sample. Yes, correct. Because there are a lot of limitations. Yes, Sakshi, it is also correct. Because he cannot perform 100% audit. These are also correct. So these are all the reasons that why the auditor cannot give and does not give. He does not give and he cannot give an absolute assurance, a complete assurance, a 100% guarantee. He only gives a reasonable assurance. Okay. So all things which you are writing in your own words, friends, all of you are writing correctly, and most of things which you are writing are converging. Okay. So to obtain reasonable assurance about what? About whether financial statements as a whole. Now this word is also very important, students. ऑडिटर को ये देखना है कि फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स एज ए होल इन टोटलिटी whether they are free from material misstatements. He has to look at the financial statements in totality as a whole, not in individual account. इसमें 1,000 रुपए की मिस्टेक है, इसमें 2,000 रुपए की मिस्टेक है, उसको टोटलिटी में देखना है कि उसका फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स पे क्या इफेक्ट हो रहा है. ओके, ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स, इज इट ओके? टू ऑब्टेन रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस अबाउट वेदर फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स एज ए होल इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड, आर फ्री फ्रॉम मटेरियल मिसस्टेटमेंट्स. Now here there is another word, material. Material misstatements. So in audit, students, we always use the term misstatements. Okay, now uh, it is also one of the keywords which you would be writing in your exams. So you cannot replace it with some another word. Material is also keyword. So material means some important, some significant. So you would be also learning materiality, material in detail in later chapters. There is a whole standard. There is a whole standard, students, complete standard on auditing. There is a whole essay devoted to materiality. Essay 320. Materiality in planning and performing an audit. So you can understand कि कितने कंसेप्ट हैं. like there is an onion को पता है उसके आपके layers उतरती जाती हैं and then onion comes out. So it is like that. हर एक in everything there is a, in every term there is a concept, and as I have told you, there is a essay on all aspects, on virtually every aspect of auditing. Okay. So what are the objectives of auditor? Objective of auditor is to obtain reasonable assurance about whether financial statements as a whole in totality are free from material misstatement. Okay, that something is not stated correctly. It is misstated either due to error or due to fraud. So misstatement can arise either due to fraud or due to error. Okay, so these terms you have also to distinguish what is the main difference between error and fraud. Errors are unintentional and frauds are intentional. So frauds are carried out intentionally to with some ulterior motive to achieve some objective, to manipulate something. Okay, unless errors which may be genuine. Okay. Okay. So to whether due to fraud or error, thereby enabling the auditor to express an opinion on whether the financial statements are prepared in all material respects. Okay, in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. So you know guys what is applicable financial reporting framework? What is financial reporting framework? Yes, Amit, you are saying me to explain material again. As I have told you, you would be learning about these terms as we move ahead. For the time being, you can understand that material means anything significant which influences the decisions of the users. Okay, anything significant which influences the decisions of the users, so which can tilt their decisions one way or another way. Okay, there is a whole standard essay 320 on materiality which you would be reading. Yes, applicable financial reporting framework means the framework in accordance with which financial statements are prepared, like Schedule 3 of Companies Act. In the context, now there is a framework in accordance with which the financial statements of a companies are to be prepared. It is prescribed by law. Okay, so all companies have to follow that framework. Okay, Clear, students? And what is the second part? And to, उसके बाद एक तो first objective is to obtain reasonable assurance that financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. Okay. And second part is to report on the financial statements. Now second part is to report. Audit तो उसने assurance तो हो गया, सब कुछ करने के बाद assurance तो हो गया, and now he has to report on the financial statements and communicate as required by essays in accordance with the auditor's findings. Now what he has to is, when he has obtained assurance, he has obtained reasonable assurance, then he would report on the financial statements and communicate as required by standards on auditing in accordance with his findings. Now ultimately his opinion should be in accordance with his findings, what he has found during the audit, what evidence he has obtained during the audit. Now these are all related to auditor's findings. So therefore the auditor's objectives are, number one, to obtain reasonable assurance that financial statements as a whole, दिमाग में रखना, as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, thereby enabling the auditor to express an opinion on whether financial statements are prepared in all material respects, in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework, and to report on the financial statements and to communicate the same in accordance with auditor's findings. So the auditor reports in accordance with these findings, what he has found during the course of audit. He reports according to that. Okay. So this objective of audit, this you have to learn. इसमें बहुत सारे MCQs और questions बन सकते हैं. No, class is not extended to 3 hours, 25 minutes. Bhavika, who says you? Class is for 2 hour 30 minutes. And we are nearing our time. So clear, students? So this is the method to study. This is the way to study. So when you study, try to underline the terms, try to underline the key terms. Okay. So when you will be reading from your module, you would yourself come to know that what is significant, what is the importance of this word. Okay. Yes, Shivam, opinion is expressed through the audit report. Yes, Rahul, if the auditor finds something wrong, then he would give his opinion accordingly. He would not say that he has not found nothing wrong. He would not say that if the misstatement is material, he would modify his opinion. He would not say that financial statements give a true and fair view. Is that clear, guys? Objective is clear to you? So what you have to do, you guys, you have to learn. Remember, students, you have to learn, not only understand. होगा क्या आप understand तो आप वाह, मेरे को तो ऑडिटिंग समझ आ गई, बहुत आसान सब्जेक्ट है, कुछ भी नहीं है, देयर इज कुछ nothing. But there is a difference between understanding and writing. So you cannot write in the exam unless you learn the things. So that is very important. Most of the students fail because although they may have some sort of understanding, but they are not able to write in the paper. Okay, so that should be your strategy, guys. Clear, students? So I think it should be sufficient for today, or you want to learn more? Yes, guys. Is it sufficient for today, or you want me to continue for some more time? So I think it is your first day, first lecture, first session, and first lecture of your live coaching classes. So I would not trouble you much. So guys, so whatever we have discussed today, whatever we have tried to understand today, my request to all of you is open your module. If you don't have, if you have not got your hard copy, obtain a printout, download the chapter, obtain the printout, and try to study. Okay, because in 10-15 days you would be seeing that we are going at a frantic pace, and whatever you have understood in some chapters, now the course is running at a fast pace and your mind is not able to catch up with that. Okay, so if you simultaneously, students, if you do not study on your own, then you would not be making any use of these live coaching classes. Then when you would be studying, when you would be opening your book after say 4 months, it would be a total blank, total washout, and you would be wasting your time. Okay, so students, do open up your modules or download the chapter and take a printout. At least take printout of chapter 1 and try to study by applying your own mind. Make a habit to read, to study. Okay, so see you guys day after tomorrow on Wednesday at 7 a.m. Thank you for listening to me. Okay, thanks a lot, guys.